Easy, guys. I put my pants on, just like the rest of you, one leg at a time. Except, once my pants are on, I make gold records.
What's going on, everybody out there in the vinyl community and on YouTube and all that good stuff? Kindle, Spinal, Spin Doctor and Spinal Mayhem. It's been a long day, so you have to bear with me, but I wanted to get this video out there. It's Sunday, January 18th or 19th. 18th, okay. It's the day after the big record crawl, as I like to call it, that Justin put together. Jeff's idea. Jeff Paris from Vinyl Record Info. Jeff texted Justin and Dev and I probably sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas and said, hey, we should get together after the holidays, and we should hit a bunch of stores in the Charlotte area and a little beyond, and just spend the day digging for records. And then Justin said, hey, why don't we get a bunch of other guys involved as well? Jeff said that would be awesome. Dev was cool with it, of course, too. So Justin really put most of this together, contacting all the guys. So we had Zonkman, we had Art, North Carolina Vinyl Picker, Eric Weinbender, Robert, who Jeff, Dev, and Justin and I met at Dylan's the Noble Records 6th anniversary sale this past October, who we ended up finding out lives like 5 miles away from Jeff. He met up with Jeff and drove up together and met up at Justin's house, and they carpooled. And then one of Justin's friends, who lives not that far from Justin, I believe, came as well. I can't remember his name. I do apologize. But I'm going to try to put everyone's social media or YouTube channels all down in the description and everything. But Jeff really is the one that kind of put this all together. He came up with the stops and all that. He figured out where we're going to eat lunch, all that good stuff. But we met in Gastonia at 11 at JG's Records. I had never been to JG's, although I have followed them on Facebook for a good while. I've actually bought from Jason before, just never been to the actual shop. But we met there at 11. That was our first stop. First and foremost, though, I do want to shout out Jeff and Justin, because when we did meet there first, Jeff did have some VCLT for me. I'll show that to you right now. He had said that he had meant to give this to me for Christmas, just forgot to mail it before he went on his cruise, and so he gave it to me yesterday. But this is Head Over Heels. This is a Japanese pressing on Capitol. It's also a white label promo. I never heard anything about these guys. Apparently they are a trio from Michigan. This album came out in 71 or 72 or something like that. A 3-piece band. I think it's the only album they ever put out. If you look them up online, you don't really find much about these guys. The bass player went on to join Rare Earth. So they were a one and done band, but killer rock. Like I said, from Michigan. It's funny how a lot of these bands come from Michigan. But just killer hard rock. Sounds really good. Think Zeppelin-esque, I guess, is what I would say. So very, very cool. I spun that today. Couldn't find, I wanted to see if I could stream it as well, but I couldn't actually find anything online. I mean, you could do it on YouTube, but couldn't find anything on streaming platforms. So, but very, very cool, especially since it's a promo. I do love a good promo, as Jeff does as well. So thank you very much, Jeff. I did enjoy this. Sounds great. So very, very cool. Also, end of last year, Justin was out. I want to say he was down in, don't remember where you were, Justin. You'll have to tell me because I can't remember. But he had popped me up and said, "Hey man, I found this. Do you need it?" And I said, "Oh man, I'd love to get it, but I can't do it. Like I can't do it right now." He said, "Well, just pay me back after the holidays." And so he picked this up for me. This is the Love box set that came out on RSD Black Friday. I had passed on it, but then regretted it right after, and no shops around here had it afterwards. But I've wanted to get into Love and just haven't really, and I'm still trying. But I figured I've heard nothing but good things about this. This is the first 4 albums and then a rarities in here. So this is a 5 LP. And for the pricing that they did, um, this was just a great price for 5 albums. Also, these were remastered from the tapes. I believe these are all stereo, not mono. I believe these were done by either Matt Luthens or maybe even Brittany Grunman or Chris Bellman, I think. So very excited to have this. So thank you, Justin, for picking this up for me. I'm very happy I was able to get that. Anyway, so we went to JG's first. Killer store. If you are into metal or Japanese pressings, this is the place for you. That is for sure. I will say this. I went into yesterday going, okay, I'm going to try not to spend a lot of money, especially since the day before I had to spend a lot of money on my car. I had to put tires on my car, and my car, I have to put expensive tires on it. And so that kind of put a damper on things a little bit. I was kidding around with Jeff and Justin and Dev saying, oh, well, I guess I'm not buying any records. Of course I did. But I didn't buy anything at JG's because, honestly, I could have spent the entire budget I had set aside for yesterday all at the first shop. And I knew I didn't want to do that because he had like so many great Japanese pressings of so much great 80s heavy metal and early 90s stuff, and then OG 90s stuff and 80s metal that you just don't see very often, like Metallica, Megadeth. He had some like Alice in Chains first pressings. He had some Guns N' Roses first pressings. He had some other 90s first pressings you don't see very often. And so like I knew I could have easily spent all my money, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But he is putting on the Gastonia record show in February, so I'm going to try to hit that up because I didn't go last year. So I know a bunch of the guys are planning on going to that in February, so I'm hoping we'll all meet up and go to that. But anyway, so we spent probably an hour, all of us there. Then we went to Revolver in McAdenville. I'd never been there before. A small little shop. And believe it or not, I actually did buy a couple of records there. This is the first one. Everyone knows I'm a huge Tom Jones fan and couldn't help myself. This is one Tom Jones I didn't have. Tom Jones records are cheap, and this is no different. But this is Tom, 1970, on the Parrot label, still in the shrink. This thing is mint. I mean, I cleaned it today and put it on. Not a skip or a sound. Dead quiet. This is a great record. It's got some great covers. Polk Salad Annie. I Can't Turn You Loose. Proud Mary. Sugar Sugar. Venus. I Thank You. Without Love. You've Lost That Love and Feeling. The Impossible Dream. I mean, just stuff. Song after song. Just killer stuff. So, yeah. I love Tom Jones. I know people make fun of him all the time, and I've told a story about my wife who could have met him when she lived in Vegas, and she just walked on by, and I'm like, what are you doing? But anyway, love Tom Jones, guilty pleasure, till the day I die. And then I found this record, and I don't like to buy records just for the cover, but Jeff and I just happened to be looking like in the same area, and I saw this, and I was like, Jeff, have you ever seen this? He's like, no, but look at that cover. I'm like, I know. So we streamed it like just to see what it sounded like, and it classified itself as rock psychedelic blues kind of, but this is Good Rats Tasty. And so I looked them up. This is their second album. They're from Long Island, New York. They started back in '64. This album came out in '74. This is actually a reissue. It originally came out on Warner Brothers, but this is let me make sure I read it right. The Ratchy Records, which I think is actually cooler than a Warner Brothers label. This is a reissue from '78. But look at that cover. How cool is that? Good Rats Tasty. A big old rat with a ton of food and stuff. But I streamed this. I mean, it's super clean. But I streamed this, and then also check out the back cover. Check out these guys. I mean, that right there tells you that's got to be good. But I streamed this in the car while we were driving around afterwards, and it's actually really good. It's definitely got some blues elements to it, some psychedelia in it as well. These guys were very, 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 very talented, actually. Some great guitar in this. So I was actually very glad I picked this up. I mean, it was only like $5 or $7, and it was, like I said, it was super clean. So this was probably the best sleeper pickup of the day yesterday. Let me know if you guys have ever seen this record or heard of this band. I want to know, because I had never heard of them. Jeff had never heard of them. Justin never heard of them. Dev had never heard of them. So yeah, very, very cool. After we left Revolver, that's where we took the picture, which is the thumbnail, which you guys saw, of all of us. That's also where we met up with Eric. He missed us at the first stop, but he showed up at Revolver. We then went to Lunchbox, and of course, as you know, on a Saturday, the parking at Lunchbox sucks. But we went to Lunchbox, and that's where I started to really kind of get into my groove. And I also had some help from some others giving me records. But found this. This is Michael Bolton. Everybody's Crazy. This is from 1985. I was not familiar with this one. Another guilty pleasure, I know. I have a lot of early Michael Bolton. I have his Blackjack album. And then I also have his first two albums after he left Blackjack. I'm guessing this is his third. I didn't actually look that one up. But this is still in the shrink, actually. It's got a little bit of corner damage there. It's on that Columbia label. This might be his first album actually on Columbia, now that I think about it. I think this is probably right before The Hunger. But yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. But it's Michael Bolton, and I paid like $6 for it, I think. So I couldn't resist. Still in the shrink. It was clean. So excited to listen to that one. Then I was very excited about this one because I have been trying to find more of this, but this is Taj Mahal's first record. Self-titled, and what made it even cooler, it was a Columbia 2i stereo, so first press, and what made this even better was it was only $10, and this thing goes for a lot more than $10, and it is very, very clean. The cover VG made, a strong VG, as they say, strong, if you want to say, but the record itself was very, very clean. So super excited about that. This is a great record. It's got a great cover of States Forever Blues on it. There's another one on here that I knew, but I can't remember. But what I like about it too is that Jesse Ed Davis is also on this record. I love Jesse Ed Davis. He's on his first 3 records, I want to say, but this is a great record. I've listened to it before, so very happy to find this and in this condition and at that price. Very, very cool. Probably maybe the best actually pickup for the price of the day. So that was definitely worth it. And then very excited about this now. This is Bonnie Raitt's Nick of Time. This is a original copy. I have the reissue, the 25th anniversary, but this is an original on that purple Capitol label. Came out in 1989. This is a club edition, but it's still in the shrink. And this also was another one. It was only $10, and it is super, super clean. So for $10, I couldn't resist. I'll probably end up getting rid of my reissue just because of how clean this thing is. And of course, we all know this record. This was a classic, kind of really rejuvenated her career. So I couldn't pass up the deal. The price, $10. I mean, come on. In the shrink as well. Yeah. Now, I blame Justin for this one. I also blame Chance. If you're watching, Chance, Concert Buddy, this is also your fault. I picked this up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kindle, Spin Doctor, what? You've already got this album. Yes, I do. I have 2 copies of Huey Lewis and the News Sports. This was the first copy I had. That beautiful hype sticker. But if you're a hardcore fan, you know there are more than one hype sticker. And so Justin, who knows that I'm a hype sticker guy, who also has a copy of this with the hype sticker, said, look, it's another one with a hype sticker. I said, crap, I don't know if that's the one I already have. Let me go ahead and buy it. So I did. And I brought it home. And guess what? It was not the same hype sticker. So now I got two different hype stickers. And if you're wondering, they are not the same pressing. Because I've looked it up. They're 2 different pressings. So, hey. But yes, I know. I have a problem. If you watched Surface Noise on Thursday, my name is Kendall Stokes, and I have a vinyl addiction. I collect records that are still in the shrink and have hype stickers and other things as well. Anyway, I couldn't pass it up because it was also very cheap. I want to say it was under $10. So yes, I did that as well. So after Lunchbox, we went to we went to lunch. We went to, geez, I forgot the name of the place. Once I remember, I'll post it down here. Little hamburgers, hot dog sandwich place. We ate outside. It was a little chilly. Had me a nice BLT. It was actually very good. I meant to take a picture of it, but I didn't. And then from there we went to Premium Sound, which is not even like a block away. And I did get something at Premium. I hadn't been to Premium in a while, so it was kind of nice to go in. Luke was there. So that was cool. But I was very excited to find this. This is Zevon, Wanted, Dead or Alive. This is on the, what label is this? The Pickaninny? No, I don't know if it's Pickaninny, but the Pickwick label right here. This is a 1979 reissue. But if you're not familiar with this, this is actually Warren Zevon's first album. Before he went by Warren Zevon, it was just called Zevon, Wanted, Dead or Alive. And I've been wanting this, and then I've been wanting his self-titled because I already have Excitable Boy. I think those are his best 3 albums. Don't get me wrong, I think he had a lot of good albums, but those are his best 3 in my opinion. So I've been wanting this, and I haven't been able to find it. And I know this isn't a first press or anything, but being able to find it, period, not the easiest thing to do, just because it was on a smaller label. And so I believe Warner doesn't own the rights to reissue this. But very excited to find this. This was a very nice copy. So very excited to find this. None of these are really songs that I think anyone would really know. It's just, I mean, there's only one song on here that's not an original, and it's a cover of Iko Iko. But still, your typical Warren, maybe a little more psychedelic, I would say. But even then, it's Warren Zevon. So a young Warren Zevon. So very excited to pick that up. From Premium, we went into Matthews and we went to Mad Jack's. A lot of the guys had never been to Mad Jack's. Just a few of us had. And you know, I go to Mad Jack's all the time because it's not that far from Noble, and I live 2 miles away from Noble. So, um, but I picked this up, and the cover is what got me. I was like, "What in the world is this?" And I looked it up, and it was Prague, and I was like, "Okay, Prague. I gotta ask Art. Art is the Prague guy." And I asked Art about this. He said, "Oh yeah, so this is Fire Ballet, Night of the Bald Mountain." And as you can tell, it's a very interesting cover. And this is on the Passport Records label. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but Art was like, "Oh yeah, that's a great album." Um, these guys, oh crap, I forgot where they're from. Canada, I think. I could be wrong on that. Art knows, but Art said, "Oh yeah, that's a great album." He's like, "You'll love it." So I was like, "Okay, if Art says it's good, I'm gonna grab it." Because I mean, like I said, Art knows his product. He says, "But the second one's really good." He didn't have the second one there. This is definitely a very intriguing album, as most prog is. But I mean, it was definitely good. I mean, is it my favorite album in the world? Well, no, but it was definitely you know, let's just say this, probably an album that if you had a gummy or something, take you to another world, especially if you're looking at that cover while you're doing it. But very, very cool. So very happy to take Art's recommendation on this. Very cool. And then I picked this up, just a few bucks as well. This is Blues Image, Red, White, and Blue. Or Red, White, and Blues, I should say. It's on that Atco label. This is the first pressing. This is their third album. They only released 3. They were only around for 2 years. And they broke up shortly after the release of this album. Just some good blues rock. Nothing special, to be honest. Just good wholesome blues. So yeah, you know, it was just a few bucks, and I thought the cover looked interesting. And of course that back cover as well. I think we know what that's used for. But yeah, no, Jeff was like, "Oh yeah, man, some great blues there. You gotta grab that for just a few bucks." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll just grab it." And then I always look at soundtracks, and I saw this. Of course, MASH. This is from the movie, not the TV show. And I wasn't thinking much of it, but then I looked right there, and I saw that promo stamp, and I was like, "Oh, dang, a promo." And of course, it's got Suicide as played by Ahmad Jamal, so a little bit different than what you're used to. But then the rest of the tracks are like stuff from the movie, like lines from the movie, so it's actually pretty funny. This is probably one of the rare cases where the TV show was more popular than the movie. Not that the movie wasn't good and popular, but let's face it, the TV show ran for over 10 years and won tons of awards and was one of the biggest TV shows in the world, and I think still has the record for the biggest series finale being watched and all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, it was just a few bucks, so I couldn't pass it up. It was a promo. From Mad Jack's, we went to Noble, which was our last stop. We had planned it that way. We were going to be at Noble, the big finale. And at Noble, I had already made this purchase from Dylan's Whatnot the week before. I had gone ahead and I had purchased a copy of Demian. So he had put this out a while back, and I just never bought it. And I was on Whatnot, and he was doing a flash sale, so I couldn't resist on that right there. And what's funny was Premium, Luke had a OG of this on the wall for like 125, which wasn't bad. and Jeff was trying to get me to buy it, and I'm like, "No, man, I already got the 3 issue." So I'm like, I don't feel like spending 125 on something I just spent like 25 for it at Noble. I'm like, I'm not that big of a fan of the record. so I had that waiting on me, and then believe it or not, the most expensive record I bought was at Noble, and it was this one here. And I just happened to be looking through the jazz bins. I hadn't really found anything of interest, and I was like, you know what, let me just look through the jazz bins. I haven't really done that much lately. And then I saw this I was very surprised. This is Blue Lights by Kenny Burrell. I'm a huge Kenny Burrell fan. If it's jazz, I'm always going to lean towards three things: guitar and Coltrane and piano. And Kenny Burrell being one of the guitarists, him and Grant Green especially. And this right here, obviously, this is one of the more rare records in my opinion. I think Dylan had an OG of this once, and it was almost $1,000. Now this isn't an OG, of course. I didn't spend $1,000, but this is a 1973 reissue on that blue and black label. The 75 has the white B. The 73 has the black. So now I know that Blue Note is getting ready to reissue this. I believe in the classic series this year. But to get a 70s pressing of this, I was like, you know what? These don't come up very often. And of course, this, known for the Andy Warhol art. I was like, I'm still gonna buy it just because it's the closest I'll get to an original. So I'm not gonna pay that kind of crazy amount of money. And I've always heard that these are good pressings. We'll see. I haven't listened to it yet, but this is an iconic record, an iconic cover. So very excited that I was able to pick this up. The vinyl is very clean from what I could tell. The cover's got a little bit, it's not perfect by any means, but it's a pretty nice cover. So yeah, it's definitely the most expensive record I picked up yesterday, but it didn't break my bank or anything. And then from there, everyone started to kind of file off little by little. I think Art left first, and then Justin and Jeff and Robert left, and then I left along with Zonkman and Eric and everybody. So we all just kind of said goodbye, and we said we'll see you at the next one. We talked about making this a quarterly thing, and maybe doing it in South Carolina, so the guys in South Carolina don't have to travel as far next time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got to hang out with the guys. I haven't seen it in a while because I haven't seen Art, man, since, geez, it's been a while. I haven't seen Zonkman in a while. I haven't seen Eric in a long time. Man, last time I think I saw Jeff and Justin was at Dylan's 6th anniversary sale as well, and I haven't seen Zonkman and Art since before then. So yeah, it'd been a while. So it was a good time. Dave couldn't make it. John couldn't make it. So hopefully next time we'll be able to get those guys out there as well. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it went kind of long, but that's what happens when you go to, 7 record stores. So anyway, if you liked it, of course, leave me that old thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And leave me comments. Tell me what you thought of the records and all that good stuff. Until next time, peace and love, and see ya. Bye.